Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out if a company is truly rocking it or just rocking a fancy suit. Today we have Medalist Diversified REIT Inc. And let me tell you, this filing has a few interesting tidbits that might make you want to check your stock portfolio. So this is a current report, basically like a company's quick update to the world, and it dropped on the 19th of December 2025, telling us about things that happened the day before. Medalist Diversified REIT Inc. is the company in question, and it is incorporated in Maryland. Its ticker symbol on the Nasdaq Capital Market is MDRR. Alright, let's get to the juicy stuff. Companies often announce dividends, which is basically them sharing some of their profits with shareholders. Medalist Diversified REIT Inc. has declared a quarterly dividend of $0.0675 per S-share. This might sound small, but for shareholders, it is a nice little bonus. If you own this stock, mark your calendars. This dividend is set to be paid out on the 13th of January 2026 to anyone who owned the stock by the 8th of January 2026. This suggests they are having enough stable income to distribute to their investors. Now, this part is a bit more complex but significant. Companies often have rules called ownership limitations to prevent any single person or group from owning too much of the company. This is usually to ensure control stays distributed and to avoid hostile takeovers. However, it looks like Medalist Diversified REIT Inc. decided to grant some waivers. Specifically, they've allowed their Chief Executive Officer, Frank Cavanaugh, and his affiliates to own up to 30% of the company's stock. That is a pretty big chunk and shows a lot of trust in his leadership and vision for the company. They've also given a similar waiver to their Chief Financial Officer, C. Brent Wynn Jr., and his affiliates, allowing them to own up to 7.5% of the company's stock. These waivers basically say these key executives can hold a larger stake than usual, which can sometimes signal a belief that the stock's value will increase significantly. It could also mean they are incentivized to perform well. These waivers are detailed in separate letters, and they come with specific terms and conditions. This filing also has some attached exhibits. Most importantly, we have Exhibit 10.1 and Exhibit 10.2. These are the actual waiver letters for Frank Cavanaugh and C. Brent Wynn Jr. respectively, detailing exactly what those ownership limits are and the conditions attached. Then there is Exhibit 99.1, which is the press release dated the 19th of December 2025, likely explaining these announcements to the public. Finally, Exhibit 104 is the cover page in an interactive data format, which is standard practice for SEC filings. Looking at this report, the main story isn't about a massive financial turnaround or a huge new deal. Instead, it is about stability and key personnel. The dividend declaration shows that the company is generating enough cash flow to reward its shareholders, which is a positive sign for overall financial health. It suggests a predictable business model and a board confident in future earnings. The ownership waivers are also quite interesting. When top executives are granted the ability to hold more stock, it often implies a strong belief in the company's future growth potential. It can also align their interests more closely with other shareholders, as they have a larger personal stake in the company's success. On the flip side, these waivers could also be seen as a way to retain key talent, especially if the company anticipates a period of significant change or growth where leadership stability is paramount. We have to consider the potential implications of these large holdings. If these executives were to sell off a significant portion of their shares, it could negatively impact the stock price. However, the fact that waivers are in place suggests they are likely committed to holding for the long term, driven by the company's growth prospects. So, what is our take on Medalist Diversified REIT Inc.? After this filing, the company is showing signs of steady operational performance by consistently paying dividends. The waivers granted to its top executives suggest a strong internal confidence in the company's future prospects and a strategic move to align leadership with shareholder interests. The risks here mainly revolve around the concentration of ownership and how those large holdings might influence future strategic decisions or market sentiment if there were any significant changes in executive stakes. However, the overall direction seems positive, focusing on sustainable operations and leadership commitment. Alright, that is our breakdown of Medalist Diversified REIT Inc.'s latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.